All right. Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining tonight's session. I'll do a quick introduction about myself, the company, share few slides, share few slide with you, and after that, I'm going to be calling on the facilitator to shed more light into the journey of a software tester. You know, and finally, we're going to take questions and answers. That will be the order of the day. So thanks for joining. Without further ado, let's get started. My name is Akin Oladeji, and I happen to be the founder of Learn with Pride. Learn with Pride is an IT organization that focuses on helping people that wants to transition from a non-IT or non-technical background into the IT space. So we run different IT trainings ranging from project management to business analysis, software testing, DevOps engineer, data analysis, web development, just to name a few. So we run like 7 or 8 different IT trainings. And what makes us different is because we focus on the practical training. We focus on what matters, what you need to know to actually get the job. Recruiters or employers now are looking for people who can hit the ground running, the people who knows what they are doing, and they can prove that yes, we can do the job. That's what the recruiters are looking for. And that's the way we are going to mold and shape you, for anyone that comes on our training. It's purely practical. As we go ahead, as we go on in the session, you're going to see what and what will be covered over the 4 month period if you enroll with us. But what I can tell you now is all our trainings are fully hands-on. Not only are they fully hands-on, you also have the opportunity, to work on a live project with a full Scrum team. So it's one thing to go through the training. It's another thing to, know the environment that you'll be working at. Most of the time now, you'll be working in an agile environment. And some of the questions you get asked at the interview as well will be, have you worked in an agile environment before? Even despite the fact that you can test, but if you haven't worked in an agile environment, that might be, a negative mark for you, or you might not even get the job because they are looking for someone who knows the job and someone who has worked in an agile environment as well. So that's what the project bit of the training will expose you to. You'll be working in agile settings. You'll be working with a full Scrum team, that will comprise the developer, the Scrum Master, the product owner, the business analyst, the tester yourself. And all of you are working together as a team and to deliver a solution for a client. So that will expose you to what you need to know, in terms of working as part of a team or working in an agile setting as well. So we focus on, as I said, on practicals and working on a live project. So about the company has been going strong for the last 4 years. And over that 4 years, over 20,000 students has passed through this academy, which I'll be showing the stats later on as well. So that is what we do. About myself, I transitioned as well. My background is in accounting. I've got masters in accounting as well. But it got to a time that I needed a change. And the first course or training I stumbled upon is a software automation. This is me coming from no technical background at all. All I knew before was debit, credit, balance sheet, trial balance, and all of that. Nothing technical at all, no IT idea, but I wanted a change, you know. So I stumbled on that course. It's a 3 month program as well. And I asked them, you know what, I don't have any technical background. I don't have any IT knowledge, but I really want to transition. Can someone like me with no knowledge at all, embark on this journey? Not only embark on this journey, at the end of the day, I'm able to secure a role. And the guys told me, what, if you put your mind to it, if you are determined enough, there's nothing too difficult for you to achieve. And that was how I embarked on the journey. I finished, started applying for jobs, back-to-back interviews. And I can tell you, 2 weeks after I finished that training, I got my first role. And my first role was not even an ordinary role, it was a senior role. So I got a senior automation tester role. And one thing about me when I did my training back then is I didn't go through all this type of testing that you guys will be going through now. The training I did was purely on automation. I didn't do any training on manual, nothing. So all the training I did was purely on automation, writing codes in programming language like C sharp, that was what I did, but 2 weeks after I finished, I was able to secure my very first role, and that marks the end of that marks the beginning, or of my career transitioning journey. And since after that, I've never regretted transitioning into IT. So there might be people on the call thinking to yourself or saying to yourself, I don't have any knowledge, I don't have any background knowledge, I don't have IT knowledge. All I've been doing all my life is accounting. All I've been doing all my life is customer service. All I've been doing all my life is security or care. It doesn't matter. When you are going on a transitioning journey, the most important thing on the journey is your determination. If you are well determined and if there's a support system, then you have nothing to worry about. But first and foremost, you have to be determined that come rain, come shine, because the road might not be easy. You face challenges, you face issues on the road, but you have people to guide you. You have people to support you. You have people to put you through. That is why you didn't enroll on Udemy. That is why you came to us, because you want, that mentorship, that support that you are going to get from our service. So anybody can transition as long as you have the right support, anybody can transition. It doesn't matter. And I tell you, now is the best time to transition, because since after COVID, most jobs, most IT jobs, have been really buzzing. People have been moving to IT. Why? Because they realized that people working in IT, they tend to be working smart and not working hard. Most of us, we get the money, but we work hard for that money. A typical example would be, let's take a nurse. Apologies for this. They are getting well paid, but there's no way a nurse can work remotely. He or she has to physically go into work, do the 12-hour shift, do the 13-hour shift or the 14-hour shift. Maybe out of 7 days a week, they'll do shift 5 days a week. The other 2 days, you see them at home sleeping. Why? Because they are tired. Even despite making the money, they don't even have the time to spend that money because they are really tired. Compared to someone working in IT, working smart. That is why you see people working in IT taking 2, 3 jobs at the same time. I know someone doing 2, 3 jobs. He has never worked beyond 5 p.m. for all those jobs, because most of these jobs, when you know your onions, you know how to prioritize everything, and most of them, it is meetings from one meeting to another meeting, which now gives you the flexibility, the work family balance is there. You have the time to take your kids to school. You have the time to take your car, to the mechanic. Not that you are not working. You are working as you are going, because you can attend meetings on your phone. While taking your kids to school, you can be on a work call as well. You are working, you know, but you are not sweating. You are not really, you are working, but you are just working smart. And that is what most people want, ability for you to be able to work smart, and that is why you see many people wants to transition to IT as well. And it has been buzzing since after COVID, because regardless of your country, whether you live in Nigeria, Ghana, Zimbabwe, South Africa, UK, Canada, you can secure remote job from any part of the world. You can be in Nigeria. When you know your onions, you can secure a remote job from a country, maybe in Hungary, maybe in Australia. You might be living in Zimbabwe, secure a remote job with a company in the UK. Why? Because you know what you're doing. And why are these foreign people looking to recruit someone from Africa, from Asia? Because they believe they are getting two for the price of one. If they should look for someone within their country, maybe they'll be spending £500 per day, but they know they can get the same quality outside and they will spend less money. So instead of them spending £500 a day, and they say, you know what, we can still pay £200 a day for someone in Nigeria. Someone in Nigeria getting £200 a day, that is like 250,000 per day. That is still a lot of money to you. That's why the fact that the company who recruited you, they think they are, they are short paying you, But to you in local currency, it's still a lot of money. Getting 250,000 naira per day, that is a lot of money. But that is the position you can put yourself. So it doesn't matter your location. It doesn't matter where you live, as long as you have the right skills and knowledge, you can transition. As long as you have the right skills and knowledge, you can secure job from any part of the world. And I repeat it, any part of the world. There are certain sites dedicated for this purpose as well, So don't let me waste too much of your time. Let me dive in into my own slide. So why software testing? I'm going to be using UK as a point of reference because that is where we are. Although it doesn't matter your country again, it's still highly paid anywhere you are. It's one of the highest paid when it comes to IT jobs out there as well. In the UK, an average salary for a software tester will range maybe permanent role from 45,000, contract role maybe 350,000, £350 a day, right? And bear in mind, the average salary of majority living in the UK is between £18,000 to £35,000. So you finishing a 4-month training and you are able to even land a 45,000 role, 50,000 role, 55,000 role, then you are even outside that bracket of majority, and that is a position you can put yourself. Or you get a contract role from 350 to 400 pounds, let's just say 400 pounds a day. 400 pounds a day, that is 8,000 pounds a month. Why won't you live a good life? Even if the contract is for 3 months, which is hardly, they will continue to extend it. It might be there for a year, getting 400 pounds a day. So even if it's for 3 months or 6 months, the money you get in 6 months, majority don't get it in a year, and you'll be wondering, can I get this money after a 4-month training? Yes, you can get it. I told you my own story. After my 3-month program back there, despite the fact that there wasn't any support, we did all the hard jobs ourselves, and at the end of the training, 2 weeks after the end of the training, after having interviews back to back, my very first role, this was someone who only did a 3-month training. My very first role was a senior automation engineer role, and my very first salary for that very role, the starting salary with them was 55,000 that I got back then, So it is possible, it is doable. Now imagine after spending 6 months or 1 year on that role. Don't you think you command the money that you get next if you want to change your role? Or if you want to if you want to go to another organization, you can dictate. If they tell you, oh, we are paying 60,000 per annum, you can tell them, no, the least I can collect will be 70,000, because you know your worth. So again, also, one of the reasons why it's in high demand is you can get visa sponsorship as well. If you did well at the interview, they like you. If you live in Nigeria, the company can apply for a sponsor. They can sponsor your visa and you can relocate, Even if there's no visa sponsorship, as I said, you can work remotely for any company, any part of the world. Most organizations require a software tester. And I tell you, at the end of this program, your knowledge level, what you are going to acquire, is even going to be more than people that has been in the industry for the last 2-3 years, because you'll be exposed to a lot. But when we get there, I'll show you. So that is that about why software testing. Also, you can work remotely. I've made mention of this several times. Regardless of where you are, if you have the right skills and knowledge, you can apply for jobs anywhere. You don't have to restrict yourself to your local country. You can look beyond your local country. You can start earning in foreign currency as well. And is in high demand. If it's not in high demand, you won't see people doing 2-3 jobs together. But because there are no enough manpower to take the job, that is why they are being, they can take 2-3 jobs. But people like you, if you go in the industry, then those doing 2-3 jobs, you can grab one out of the 3 jobs they are doing. There are loads of jobs out there. As I said, most organizations require a software testing. Most organizations that are into software development lifecycle, that are into software, they require a software tester. So it is always in demand, and there are different tester that you can become. You can become a manual tester if that is the part you want to focus on. You can become an automation tester if that is the part you want to focus on. You can become a performance tester, an API tester. So you are not restricting yourself like me when I did mine, that the only thing I knew was automation. You are not restricting yourself to just one. But when we get there again, I'll talk more about that. So what will be the roadmap if you are to come on board? How is the journey going to be like? So it's going to be a 4-month program. I'm sure for most people on this call, you must have called 1 or 2 companies out there as well. You must have done your due diligence when it comes to, which company to go with. And I'm sure you've never seen most companies you see out there, they will tell you they will teach you in 1 month or in 6 weeks, and that is it. But we don't do crash course. We want to ensure that you know what you are doing before you are deployed at the end of the program. So we don't rush, and we ensure that we cover everything that is needed, before the end of the program as well. So the program is for 4 months. It runs twice a week, every Wednesdays and Thursdays, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. UK time, for 4 months. But as part of this, okay, quickly, as you can see on your screen, you'll be taught in-demand skills and tools. You'll be exposed to different tools during the course of this training, 4 months training. And also, before the end of your 4 months training, you also be put on a live project for another 2 months. So at one point, you'll be running both concurrently. You'll be running both the training and the project concurrently, because before the end of your 4 months, you also be put on a project for another 2 months. And the project is a live project that will expose you to agile way of working, and you'll be working with the likes of the developer, the scrum master, the product owner, the business analyst, and yourself as a tester for that team as well. So that is for the project. So 4 months for the training, 2 months for the project. And after that, now you've gone through the training, you've gone through the project, you can call yourself a software tester because you see yourself as one, and because you know what they do. You start applying for jobs, but you are not getting calls. You'll be wondering, what am I doing wrong? What is going on here? It's because you are not visible in the market. If you are not visible in the market, there's no way recruiters will see you. If recruiters don't see you, there's no way you can receive calls. That is why optimization of your brand is very, very important. I cannot overemphasize how important it is. It is equally as important as the training itself and even the project. That is why for most people that will be, that wants to start applying for international jobs, you need to revamp your CV to international standards. Also, LinkedIn as well. You need to be on that in that space as well, because LinkedIn has now become, a popular place that recruiters go to search for qualified people and reach out to them to see whether they are still available in the market. So you have to be there. You need to optimize your LinkedIn profile. You need to revamp your CV. When these two things are done, you'll be shocked the impact that it will have. You start getting calls, and from getting calls, you can be rest assured that, you start getting interviews. Also, as recruiters are reaching out to you, you too, you are applying for jobs manually. You've uploaded your CVs on different job sites. And not only uploading them on different job sites, you make them searchable as well, because it's not all jobs that are posted online. Some jobs are not posted online. Recruiters just go on those different websites to look for the right candidate, and they will call them afterwards. So that is why you need to make your CV searchable. These are part of the things that will show you on the journey how to do it as well. And when you start applying for jobs, the recruiters are reaching out to you, then you start getting interviews. And that is another key stage that we assist with as well: interview preparation. Because your success at the end of the day is our success. It's not all about the money that you are paying for the training, but if you are able to secure a role at the end of the program, someone will ask you, how did you do it? And that is what we want, because you'll be able to refer us that, oh, I did my training with Learn with Pride. Those guys are really good. I got my job. You can try them out as well. That is our joy. That is the position we want to see you, and we want to find you. So we do everything in our power, to assist you to achieve that dream, to achieve that aim, and to achieve that objective. So quickly, while still on interview preparation, let me just go through the benefits um, attached to enrolling on this program with us. So you get the practical training, you get to work on a project, on a live project, you get the mentorship, you get the support, you get interview preparation, and also all our courses, they are CPD accredited, meaning they meet the professional standard, and the certificate that you get at the end of the program is recognized in over 60 countries. At your free time, you can go on Google and search for CPD standards. When you go on CPD standards, you can read more about the benefits that is attached to the certificate that you'll be getting at the end of the program. Also, you can search for us on their website as well if you want to see our registration number and all of that. And finally, we give you a work reference for the duration that you are with us, because you'll be working on our project. So we'll be more than happy to give you a reference when you need one towards securing a particular role, a software testing role. We'll be more than happy to give you a reference. So that's the benefit, of you coming on board. And you coming on board after your course or after your training, that we don't say goodbye, because the moment you enroll with us, you are joining a family, you are joining a community. Because eventually, even if you get the job, you need people at your corner, like boxing. They need people at their corner. Same thing with transitioning. You need people to run to. You need the community to run to. Oh, I'm stuck. I've been given this API, whatever to do. How do I go about it? If you don't belong to a community, then how do you achieve that? So 6 months down the line, you can still come back to us. And aside that as well, you'll be added to an alumni group, where you can, interact with this community as well. So you forever remain a family, and our doors, will be forever open to you if you need anything as well. All right, so that is that. Quickly, let's go through the stats of the company. So as I made mention earlier on, since 2022 date, over 20,000 people, they've enrolled on this journey with this organization called Learn with Pride. This stat is the enrollment from January till June. It's not updated, but at least we can see the enrollment we've had since January to June. And also, we've added few more courses to this as well. You can see for software automation over 250. That was when we're still doing only software automation, over 250 enrollment and all of that. Also, lastly, rather, all in all, 85% of our students are currently working out there. We have 50% working in public sector, while 35% works in private sector, and 15% are still job ready. They are on our alumni group, still actively looking for a job, and I'm sure they will get one soon as well. So quickly, let's go through job sample I got online. This is an automation tester role, paying 60,000 plus. You can see you can apply for such roles after your training as well. As I said, my very first when I break through, my very first salary was 55,000. That is without benefit. Plus benefit, I think it's over 60,000. So yes, you can get such money. It's not only meant for people who has been doing it for 3, 4, 5 years. As I said, at the end of the program, the knowledge you acquire will be more than those that has been even working for 2, 3 years, because you'll be exposed to a lot, which I'm going to get to very, very soon. You'll be exposed to a lot. So there is no way, you won't be able to get a job at the end of the day. There is no way. There is no way. But you can only achieve that if you do your own 50%. Because the moment you enroll on this journey, it's like you are going into a partnership agreement with us. And in this partnership, we contribute 50-50. Our own 50% will be to equip you with the right skills and knowledge, provide a platform for you, mentor you, support you on the journey. And your own 50% has to be going above and beyond what has been covered in class. As I made mention earlier on, the class will be twice a week. That doesn't mean you have to restrict your learning to only twice a week. Your learning for the duration of the program has to be an everyday journey. And because that is the only way you will be able to compete with people who has been doing it for many years in the industry. You need to get your hands dirty. On the project, you need to take the driver's seat. When you do all these things, you achieve your 50% plus our own 50%, then we can attain the 100% together. By so doing, you can be rest assured that you get something, you secure a job. There is no how. All right, let's look at this one. Is a contract role, paying £380 per day. Let's just say £400 a day. £400 a day, that is £8,000 a month. Again, if the contract, did they say how long is the contract for? Okay, it's not there. Let's even assume the contract is for 6 months. You getting 8,000 times 6, that is a lot of money. As I said, many people don't get that in a year or even 1 year and a half, and you are getting it in 6 months. So you can only put yourself in that space after you've acquired the right skills and knowledge. But the problem we have most of the time is, we procrastinate. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it next week. Oh, you know what? That'll be my New Year resolution. What we fail to realize is tomorrow never comes. Next year will come, but another next year will come. You still haven't done that thing. That is why it is good to make A when the sun still shines. Do what you have to do. Invest in yourself, because the money you use to even invest in yourself for 4 months, after that 4 months, you might even be getting more than your investment for the duration of that 4 months per day. Might become what you'll be getting per day. The money you invested for 4 months might become what you'll be getting per day after the program. So that is why it is always good to take the leap of faith, to take that bold step. Once you take that bold step, every other thing will become easy. I'm sure many of us on this call, more than once, you've wished that, oh, maybe on the TV you saw someone won 60 billion on lottery. You wish that, oh, had it been, I was the one who won that money. But it can never be you to win that money. Why? Because you never played the lottery. How can you win when you never play lottery? You can only win in your dreams. That is the same thing applies to transitioning as well. What you meant to have done, you saw your friend who embarked on such journey maybe a few months ago and is now working, living good, earning good money. You're now wishing that, oh, I didn't have done the same training back then as well. Maybe me too, I'll be earning this much now. But you never did. That is why, investing in ourselves is very key, because there's no way you invest in yourself that you will not reap the reward later on. There is no way, you know. Uh, so, l- let's go on. All right. So I said this earlier on as well, as part of the benefit you get. So you get the CPD accredited certificate, you get the mentorship, you get the UK work reference, interview preparation, support, and practical training, work on a life project. Those are the things that you get. But if you come on the journey, what are you going to learn? You'll learn this much. I'm sure many people who have done their due diligence, have called other companies, you realize what I'm talking about. On this 4-month journey, you'll be trained on manual testing. You'll be trained on mobile testing. You'll be trained on performance testing. You'll be trained on API testing. You'll be trained on automation testing. Now tell me, how will it be possible after the 4-month program that out of everything that you've learned, you won't be able to get a job? Either as a manual tester, or as an automation tester, or as a mobile tester, or as a non-functional tester, which we can refer to as a performance tester as well. Tell me how you won't be able to get a job. That is why the training is really intense for the 4 months, because we want to cook you, equip you with the right skills and knowledge, so that at least one out of all these many testing, you can secure one at the end of the program. The question is, what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? Because I can beat my chest to this. You can never get this complete package anywhere out there. You can never get any organization giving you all this at the same time. All right. So if you are to come on the journey, so this training will be starting on the 25th of October. The next cohort will be starting on the 25th of October. And we only have, I think, 8 slots as of this evening left for the cohort that will be starting on the 25th of this month. The cost is £999. But for anyone enrolling on this course for the next 3 days, you are going to get access to 50% discount, making the cost for the entire duration £499. That includes the project, that includes the intensive, 4 months training that will expose you to like 5 different testing. The good thing again is, after this 50%, you don't need to pay everything once. You can start with half payment, and the other half can be paid within 4 to 5 weeks after you've started. Again, the money you are investing, you are paying for the training, might be what you start earning per day after the end of the program. Even let's say it's £300 per day you are earning as a contractor. That means in 2 days, you are going to get your investment back. You are going to get your return on investment in 2 days. it is no brainer. You know, it is the best deal you can ever get in 2023. I tell you, it will be the best money you've ever invested in yourself, because you can never go wrong. There's no way you can go wrong. There is no way. Only if you are not ready to learn. That's the only way. All right. So if you are interested, for enrollment, for any questions, you want to ask me whether after this session or you want to enroll after this session, the number on your screen will be the best number for you to contact. So you can save that number. You can screenshot it, save it on your phone. That will be the best number to get me on, after, for enrollment details, for any questions. That will be the best number to get me on. So the question to you is, what are you waiting for? You can rewrite the story. You don't have to be working hard for the money. You can start to work smart. You can do two jobs at your own convenience at the same time. Meaning, you can get one permanent job, you can get one contract job, doing both together. The advantage, the benefit is limitless, so to say. But don't let me waste your time. Let me call on the facilitator, Samuel, that will be taking you on the journey for the next 4 months to tell you, to shed more light, into the benefits, that is attached to becoming a software tester. And I'll be back shortly. But for now, thank you for listening to me. You can start to message me if you want to enroll. You can start to message me now. As I said, we only have 8 slots for the core that will be starting end of this month. So for now, thanks for listening to me. I'll be back shortly. Samuel, over to you. I'm going to stop sharing now. Thanks. See you soon.
All right, Akin, thank you so much. Can anyone see my screen? Akin, let me know if my screen is okay, cool.
Yes, we can see and we can hear you.
Okay, so about software quality assurance and engineering training, we will be handling, like Akin mentioned, almost 4 separate types of software testing. Software testing is basically divided into various types. There are professionals that specialize only on API testing, some specialize on automation, some people can specialize on manual testing, mobile testing. And the good thing about this is that you can just specialize on one and you still find a job on that one, and also earn so much from just specializing in just one part of software testing. But the good thing we are offering here is we are combining all of these 4 different types of testing. So you have knowledge of manual testing, you have knowledge of, you also learned automation testing, including the API testing. And we do also a bit of database testing, checking database to validate that whatever data the user submit on the front end actually gets to the database, because that's where data are stored. Every application you interact with, there's a bank somewhere that stores this data. You fill a form online, this data get to somewhere. So we will cover all of this part of testing, right? So before I dive deeper into the various part of testing and why you should enroll in this class, I just want to say, probably you have an overview about the instructor that will be taking you on this journey. So as reflected on this slide, my name is Samuel Lubong. I am a holder of master's degree in computer science and also in education. So I have been trained on how to teach. I'm not just a computer scientist. I'm not just a software quality assurance engineer, but a professional teacher who has registered with various teachers organizations, both locally and internationally. So currently, recently, I was recognized by LinkedIn as a top voice in software testing. Once you head to LinkedIn and you search for Samuel Lubong, you'll be able to find my profile there. And there you'll see that I am a voice when it comes to software quality assurance engineering or software testing. So this has been even recognized by LinkedIn because of my contribution to people in that platform as well. Currently working with MTN, one of the biggest telecommunication company in Africa. And I work as a software quality assurance engineer. I do both manual testing, automation testing, UI testing, mobile testing. Of course, you agree with me that telecommunication is a vast and also a dynamic industry. Sorry for the break. So and also working with Neotech in UK, right as well. So just go on my LinkedIn, then from there you gather more information about your instructor that will be taking you on this journey, this wonderful journey that you're about to enroll. So what is really software testing for quality assurance is basically a process. What you'll be learning is basically a process of analyzing a software item, right, to detect the differences between existing and required conditions. Now, before a software is developed, there's what they call user requirements. This user requirement document states what the application should do and how this application should be built, the features that the application should have. Take, for instance, a banking mobile app. So one of the features of a banking mobile app is that the app should be able to transfer money from one account to another. And users should also be able to use this application to check their account balance. So these are requirements, right? So what you'll be doing once you finish this training and you have your first role in the job is basically checking the application that has been built, developed by developers, comparing this actual application with the document, right? The document says users with a minimum balance of 100 Naira should be able to transfer money from the account to another account. You basically carry out this check. You'll be the first person to use this application. You check, is it true? Is it possible for users to actually use this bank app and transfer money from the account to another account, right? So that's what you'll be doing as a software tester and many other stuff. This is just one of them as well, right? You also check, can user also use this application to check their account balance? That's what software testers do. You compare the actual product with the document that has been written already by some professional in that particular area. So there are many ways of doing this. All the ways of testing or the methods of testing you will learn in this training. Then we just move on to why do companies need software testers? Why should you enroll and have knowledge of software testing? Why do companies really seek for software testers? This is a very important question you must know. First is security. Like the banking application I mentioned, no bank will just build an app, release that app to Play Store, or release that app to their server and allow users to start using this app without thorough testing. There must be someone who have the knowledge of testing to validate the security of the application, to check and tell the stakeholders, look, your application is good to fly. Look, your application users can use without posing any security risk. If not, you build, you release, and there are bugs, and intruders or attackers out there can just leverage on the security flaws on the application and steal customers' money. And no companies, no bank will want to find themselves in this in such situation. That's why they employ qualified testers. They employ people in this area just to help validate this application and tell the stakeholder that the application is free of bug, that the application is free of security risk before they can deploy to Play Store where the Android users can download, before they can deploy to iOS Store where Apple users or iOS phone users can also download the application and make use of. Then another part why, or another reason why companies need software tester is because it saves money. So I'll combine that aspect of saving money and brand reputation just to share one story that we are all familiar with. So you understand why companies value software quality assurance engineers. Now, this story goes as this. We all remember in 4 years, right, the Ethiopia Airlines also crashed minutes after takeoff from Addis Ababa to Nairobi. That this plane crashed, about 157 people died when it plunged into farmland outside the Ethiopian capital in March 2019. The incident involved a new design of aircraft, right? This aircraft is called Boeing 737 MAX. Then just months earlier, an almost identical aircraft operated by Indonesian carrier Lion Air had also crashed into the Java Sea on what should have been a routine flight from Jakarta to Penang. Then almost 189 passengers and also crew members lost their lives. Now, it was also later from the investigation conducted to find out the root cause of those two plane crashes. It was some information emerged that both accidents were triggered by design flaws. In particular, the use of flight control software known as MCAS, right? The system was designed to assist pilots familiar with previous generations of the 737 and also prevent them from needing costly extra training in order to fly the new model. But sensor failures caused this particular malfunctioning of this application. And in both cases, it forced the aircraft into catastrophic, right? Which this accident happened and a lot of passengers lost their life. So the implication of that was that if after Boeing had designed the plane, they discover a defect in the design and they wanted to use a software to correct that defect. Now, the software that was developed was not properly tested, and Boeing went ahead to sell this plane aircraft to various air operators, like the Ethiopian airline also got one of those Boeing plane, and it was also discovered that while the plane was in the sky, the nose of the plane was tilted upward, and the software automatically activated, forcing the nose of the plane down. And once the software was activated, the pilot didn't have control over the plane. This was a bug. Now, they used what is prohibited in software testing, which was single point of failure. There was just one sensor on the plane, checking the nose of the plane. Once the plane was not stable, this sensor sent a signal to the software, to the computer system that was controlling the aircraft, and this computer would try to stabilize the plane at that point. But they were bugged in this software because the software was not properly tested, and this caused a lot of a disaster, which lives were lost as well. And also Boeing as a company also lost their reputation. They lost great brand reputation. So no company would want to find themselves in such situation as Boeing. You also remember that during that time, a lot of passengers boycotted Boeing planes, most especially, including the airlines operators. These planes were grounded, and Boeing as a company will also fined huge sum of amount by the US government. And yet the company lost money. Boeing company lost brand reputation because of what? Software flaws. And no company wants to put themselves in such situation as Boeing found themselves. That's why they employ software testers to make sure that the application is properly tested before this application is released to end users. So any software that is not properly tested and is being released to end users, this can damage company reputation. It can also make company lose a vast sum of amount, and no company wants to find themselves in this situation. That's why software quality assurance engineering jobs are all over the world. And it's one of the skills when you have, you can work from anywhere. It doesn't matter where you find yourself. We have people staying in Africa, having access to jobs in US company, in UK company. Irrespective of where you are, you can find a remote job, right? When you have this skill as a software tester. And another thing is that even the software testers are even more paid than the software developers, right? So you can do your research and find out. And the job of a software tester is simpler, right, as compared to software development, which you have to write through a lot of code, understand a lot of programming languages. But for software testing, just see yourself as the end user, right? But here you have a special skills in using this application. You just check this application, validate the usage of the application, and report that this application is working as expected. That is basically your job as a quality assurance engineer. And you will be well paid at the end of the day, even more paid than the people that develop their application. So another reason why some companies employ software tester is to boost customer contentment as well. Once your application is easy to use, your application is delivering on its mandate, of course, the company will be happy. Now, we take, for instance, fintech companies and the commercial banks we now have. You notice that there are times you want to transfer money with a commercial bank app, and the transaction was successful, you were debited, and can take up to 24 hours for that transaction or that money to actually get to your recipient, the intended person that you transferred this money to. But with the advent of fintech companies, the process is faster. Instant transfer. You transfer now, you get the debit immediately, and the recipient gets credited instantly, right? So this boosts customers' contention. So when a user is confident of your product, a user can use your application, make transfer, for instance, banking app, and the money gets to the recipient's account instantly. Then more users will fall into your platform, enroll or download your application and start making use of. So companies know about this, and the only person that can ensure quality in the processes used in developing software is the software quality assurance engineer. So this is why companies do look for software engineers, people with the right skills in testing software products. Another reason is also product quality. Just as the name implies, quality assurance engineer, you ensure quality in this application by doing thorough testing, even checking the documents, like the requirement document I mentioned. Part of the things you'll be doing is to even validate. Now, before application is developed, there's what we call prototype design, right? Or user design or application design. At that point, it is cheaper for you to even look at the design, the prototype of the application, make corrections or adjustments to that design before the application itself is actually developed. All of this is what you will learn, and I can assure you that a lot of jobs in this particular field, in this particular career path, right? That's why you have so many people working for many companies. You can see one quality assurance engineer working for 3 to 5 companies. If you have the energy to work for 5 companies, I can assure you there are jobs for quality assurance engineers. We have fewer quality testers, but we have more software developers. So that's why there's always opportunities for software quality assurance engineers, because no much people in the field, no much quality assurance engineers, but there are a lot of developers. Thousands of people writing code, thousands of people, millions of people developing, but fewer people testing, fewer people with the right knowledge when it comes to software testing. Then another thing you should also be aware of is, what does the software tester do? Just like I've mentioned, your duty is just to validate the actual product with the document that will be given to you by the management or stakeholders or a business analyst. So you check this document, compare the actual product that you have, check if the software is delivering on its mandate, the software is doing what was stated or what it was designed to do. Just validation is what you'll be doing. And at the end of the day, you'll be well paid for that. Then there are various types of testing. You learn all of this. We have black box testing, we have gray box testing. This is where the skill comes in. This is what you need to learn, right, to become a qualified software tester. You learn black box testing, you learn gray box testing, and also part of it will be the white box testing. Under the black box testing, you learn functional, you learn non-functional, you learn how to conduct regression, you learn how to do smoke sanity testing, cross-browser testing, checking to be sure that this application can run on various browsers. There are some applications that may work fine, web applications that may work fine on Chrome browser, but getting to Firefox or Edge browser, they are not working perfectly well. So a quality assurance engineer conduct tests across these browsers just to be sure that this application is working fine, because you cannot tell what browser your user may be using in accessing your platform. So you must ensure that this application works perfectly well across the various browsers we have in the market, including the non-functional testing. You learn security testing, right? You also learn installation, resilience, reliability, usability, and compliance testing, including localization, right? For instance, you have Facebook as Facebook is localized in the essence that Facebook supports local languages. You're from Yoruba, Facebook support Yoruba. You're from China, Facebook support China. You can switch these languages. So a quality assurance engineer can also check and validate this functionality as well. And most applications must be able to show time in local time zone to the users. Of course, you have an application that will be used worldwide, right, will be used by majority of people. You don't know where your users will be coming from. Your application should be able to show time zone to people in the UK, should be able to show the UK time zone, should also be able to show US time zone to people accessing this application from the UK, including the African part as well. Every continent, the application should be localized and help the users feel as if the application was actually designed for them. This is the only way the company can grow. Of course, we have millions of applications on Play stores. We have billions of applications on iOS stores, right? So what can stand out a particular company is the quality of the application. And who are those that ensure this quality? They are software quality assurance engineers. They are the ones that help companies generate revenue. That's why companies don't joke with quality assurance engineers. Another thing you'll also be learning is the performance testing. How well is the application performing? Come in terms of load testing, in terms of endurance, can the application withstand user load? Take, for instance, Facebook. Facebook can boast of, currently, they said that it withstands about 2 billion active users daily, right? Not all applications have that capacity that 2 billion people can jump on that application concurrently and the application will still be working fine, right? So you learn all of this, you learn how to conduct load testing. This is going to be practical. This is going to be 70% practical and only 30% theory. So once you go for interview, you should be able to use the 70% practical and 30% theory and take that job. Also learn stress testing, volume testing, spike and scalability testing, including the white box, where you also look at the developer's code and also be able to contribute. We will show you software development methodology, software development life cycle, including how to look at codes and understand some basic flaws in that code. And we'll also teach you the automation testing, where you have to automate the process or processes of software testing as well. So these are more what you learn once you enroll with us for this training. Then how to become a software tester. It's simple, acquire the technical skills, and that is what we stand for. We equip you with the right skills to excel and also succeed in this field as a software tester, right? Then benefit, there are job security and high demand, right? Benefit of becoming a software, a quality assurance engineer, be rest assured of job security and not just ordinary job, you'll be well paid, right? I can assure you. The least salary, the least starting salary is about $3,000 monthly, right? So that's the least starting salary. And of course, we will not going to train you to go and look for intern role, right? We will train you to the point where you can comfortably pick up a senior role and you'll be able to perform well in that new role, right? So I look forward to having you in this class. I can guarantee you the training is interesting, right? It's also educative as well, right? That a lot of people already in the training session with us, and they can, some of them can even attest to this. And this training is for 4 months. So we didn't say, oh, come and get trained in software quality assurance engineering under 2 weeks, under 1 month. No, we don't do that. You cannot become a professional software tester in 1 month. That's why we spread this training across 4 months, so that in every month you learn one part of testing. We start with the manual testing, which is the functional testing in the first month. Then the second month we move to performance testing. You do performance testing for 1 month. Then the third month you get to do the API testing, and the last month you do the automation testing. The good thing is that you can find a job role seeking for people that are professional in API testing, and you find yourself in that particular, you find yourself fit to apply for that role. You can see another role looking for manual testers. Of course, you will be qualified to also apply for that particular role. You find yourself seeing a job that is looking for automation engineers, you find yourself fit to apply for automation engineer role course. We will train all aspects, we will teach all aspects of software quality assurance engineering, all aspects of software testing. We will cover every part of software testing, including software development lifecycle and everything you need to know about software from the process of conception or from the process of when the idea is conceived to when the software is developed and to when the software is tested and also deployed to the market where end users can start making use of the application. All of these and more are what you will learn in this training. Thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you in the class. This training will start soon, and welcome. Over to you, Akin.
Yeah, thanks, Samuel, for the presentation. Please, if you have any question, you can start to raise your hand. I will be calling you shortly, or you can put your message, your question on the chat as well. 1 second, let me share my screen. All right, so please, if you have questions, please raise your hand. I will call you. We are on this session to rub minds together, to learn together. So I like to hear from people as well. But if you don't want to raise your hand, you can put your message or your question on the chat as well. So just to go back on what I said earlier on, the training will be starting on the 25th of this month. Another 4 months cohort will be starting. We have 8 slots for this cohort that will be starting. Also, you can take advantage of the 50% discount and the price if you are enrolling in the next 3 days. After that, it goes back up to 30% discount. So you can make A when the sun still shines. And as I said, you don't need to, even after the 50% discount, you can start or secure your spot with half payment. And the other half can be paid 4 to 5 weeks after you've started on the training. So we try to make it as comfortable, easy, and convenient for people as much as possible. All right. Umbu, you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Okay, good evening, everyone. My question is this. I didn't join when the class started, so I didn't know the price for it. Aside that, do you people accept intern, like people that have gone through software testing courses, online studies? Do you people accept interns to gain experience?
No, because online courses, I tell you, is different from what we offer. What we offer is deeper than any online course you must have done. Also, the reason for that is, take for example, maybe on the project, they are using Jira. You'll be exposed to Jira and all of that. Is it part of the things you've learned? So there will be discrepancies, what you've learned versus how it's done, maybe on a project or something like that. So it is always better to go through the process. That is why we try as much as possible to include every type of testing you can find out there, so that at the end of the journey, you'll be able to land a job. So the thing is, we can only vouch for our students, because even aside our own intern or aside our own project as well, we have other organizations that we partner with that our students do apply to for an intern role as well, even outside our role, even outside our own. But when they are taking them, they will ask that question because they will still go through interview. That's why the fact that it's intern, but they will still ask them, where did you get trained? Where did you do your training? And they will mention also with Learn with Pride. So those are just the things or the advantage that comes with, with our package, so to say, being able to vouch for our students. That is it. I hope I've been able to answer your question, Ombu. All right. In Phoenix, you can unmute yourself and ask your question. In Phoenix, Alt 9, you can unmute yourself now.
It's almost evening here, and I'm speaking from Ghana. My question is that, hello?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Go on. If you are talking, I can't hear you again. All right, you can type your question. I don't think you are not audible. All right. Samuel, do you want to? There's one question on the chat. What is the difference between DevOps and testing? Because in DevOps, there is testing also in it.
Oh yeah, right. So the DevOps engineers don't do testing in detail. So what they do is just to create pipelines, then an automation script can be pushed to that pipeline so that once there's an update to the application and the developer pushes this updated code to the repo, for instance, GitHub, or any other repository, that triggers the pipeline and the automation script is run against the updated code. And once error is found, then it shares reports automatically to the stakeholders. It is designed in such a way that it can trigger reports, share this report via email, or share it via Slack channel or any other communication channel as well. So there's a lot of difference between DevOps. DevOps, the primary duty of a DevOps engineer is to create a different environment, create test environment, create a developed environment, and also create this what they call production environment, where the live application sits. Those server will be responsible for setting up server and also be responsible for also pushing the finished product application to Play Store so that the Android users can have access to the application via their Play Store. Also pushes this application as well to iOS Store. So Android or iOS users can also find the application on the store and download. So there's quite a difference between the DevOps engineers and also quality assurance engineer. But now the trending part of software testing is also important if you have some knowledge of software quality assurance engineer and also have knowledge of DevOps, right? So that will even set you apart in the industry. But then the software quality assurance engineer role is quite different from that of the DevOps engineer role. DevOps, right, just as the name implies, development and operation. That's why they call it DevOps. While the quality assurance engineer is to ensure quality, DevOps engineer will not look at the prototype of the application and make corrections to those prototype document, cannot even look at the static documents like the requirements document, the business document, technical document to make validations on that document or make correction to that document. But a quality assurance engineer knows this, look at the document, can even go through the document and make corrections to that document. That's not the duty of a DevOps engineer. DevOps engineer is to control the operation and also the deployment, right? In charge of taking this developed code to the production code where users can have access to and ensure that the production environment is up and running, while the software engineers will basically test this application, share reports, and if there's defect or there's bug, it will report this bug to the stakeholders or the development team. But then, just like I mentioned before, the trend in the industry at the moment is DevOps. If you have knowledge of quality assurance engineer and you have some knowledge of DevOps engineering, then you are an asset in the industry. So once you get a role in QA, your job is quite different from that of the quality assurance. Sorry, your job as a QA engineer is different from that of a DevOps engineer, development and operation, quality assurance engineer, right? But though there's an element of software testing in DevOps. Now, the DevOps engineer will not come and write code to test application, but the quality assurance engineer does that. The quality assurance engineer will automate the application, then pushes this code to the pipeline. So now there are some, you are not expected as a QA to push your code, your automation scripts to the pipeline. It is the duty of the DevOps engineer to get this code, pushes it to pipeline, right? So once there's a push to the repo, it triggers the pipeline and your automation script runs at that point and report issues or bug as well. Now, another thing you should also know, the difference that also exists between DevOps engineer and I'm explaining this from the technical perspective, the technical point of view as well. Just from, of course, I'm in the industry, I know how these things are done anyway. So the QA engineer, what they do now is what they call TDD, test-driven development. Test-driven development in the sense that you basically write a test, right? Push this test to the pipeline, which is the DevOps engineer responsible for pushing that test to the pipeline. Now, developers will now mean that test is written even before the application is developed. Now, developers will write code to pass the test that has already been developed. This way, we help overcome a lot of issues in the application. So DevOps, there's aspect of software testing in DevOps. So the QA engineer works hand in hand with DevOps engineer to implement testing in the DevOps environment. So the duty of DevOps engineer to ensure quality, right? Is the duty of software quality assurance engineer to ensure quality in the application. But it's a cross-functional team, of course. You'll also be interacting with developers. You'll also be interacting with BAs. You'll also be interacting with data analysts, including developers, the front-end developers, the back-end developers, and database administrators as well, including the DevOps engineer. It's a cross-functional thing, right? You need a developer you need to also have knowledge of what developers are doing. You also need to have knowledge of what DevOps engineers are doing. So you interact with these people. Of course, the job roles and job functions are different as well. So I just hope this has answered your question. So
Yeah.
there's a great difference between DevOps engineer and also
while you are still on there, Samuel, there's other two questions from Michael in Lola as well. The first or the second one, also as a tester, do I need to have programming knowledge? And lastly, what is the future and cash compensation of testing?
All right, so it's not a must you have a software development or coding knowledge. Just like we mentioned, or I mentioned from in the presentation, you can either specialize as a manual tester, right? For one of the companies I work for, we have different units under software testing. We have people we call functional testers. All they do is to do the manual testing. Before application is deployed or before application is even automated, what they do is to manually test the product, right? Take, for instance, we want to upgrade a certain USSD code where user can dial. Now we now have harmonized code. Before this was deployed, we have a certain users that will manually test this short code if it is working. If users can use this short code to purchase data or maybe probably buy airtime, right? So of course, now you can also interact with a chatbot via your WhatsApp and buy data and also buy airtime. So we have people to manually check this application. And don't also forget there are some applications that cannot be automated, right? So you still need manual testers. You can still function as a manual tester and you'll be well paid. Like I mentioned, the international price, the starting salary is $3,000, monthly, but it also depends on the industry or the company capacity to pay. There are some companies that are so rich that can pay their staff up to $6,000 monthly. That's at the international level. So coming locally in the Nigerian market, right, the starting salary is 400,000 naira as we are just starting, right? So they pay between 400,000 to 2 million, depending on the company that that is employing you, the capacity of the company, right? That's for the Nigerian market. But then we are not training you just to look out for the Nigerian market. We are giving you a training that meets the international standard. Training that you should be looking out for a bigger role. You should be looking out for remote jobs, foreign jobs from the US. The US market is the highest paying market when it comes to software development. Either you're a software developer, you are a data analyst, you are whatever you are in the field of tech, the US company pays higher. So we are using the US standard. That's why we adhere to the industry standard. The curriculum we are using aligns with the international curriculum, the ISTQB curriculum, which is the acceptable body that regulates the software testing. So you don't need the coding knowledge to become a software quality assurance engineer, but then we would also teach you the automation part where you get to learn the coding knowledge. You can specialize in API automation or API testing, which does not require coding, and you will be well paid for just doing API automation. You can also specialize in performance testing, just checking the system to be sure that this system can carry the expected user load. Take, for instance, the telecommunication industries that have over 80 million customers, the 90 million, 100 customers, including banks. There are banks that have over 120 million customers. And if 80 million customers out of 180 customers want to use this application to do transaction or to perform transfer, will this application be able to withstand this user load in a particular time? So that's what you'll be checking for in performance testing. So you can just specialize in performance testing, and all you do is to do performance testing, and you'll be well paid. That does not require knowledge of coding, right? Or manual or mobile testing. You just want to test mobile application, USSD code application that runs on iOS devices and also Android devices. And now we talk about smart devices like smart TV. A lot of applications, a lot of companies are developing applications to run on television, run on smartwatches, and even cars as well. So we also teach you how look out for this kind of automation or software, and also run proper test reports, right? Coding knowledge is not a must in becoming a software tester, but it's one of the things you will learn when you enroll with us.
Thanks, Samuel. All right. There's another question. How much is it in Naira? The cost in Naira after discount, after the 50% discount, is 500,000 Naira. Again, half payment is required to start, and the other half can be paid within 4 to 5 weeks. How much is it in dollars? That would be 600. After discount, that would be $620. Again, half payment, you can use half payment to start. From Joseph, do you give certifications? If not, are there certification for software testing? All right. So I made mention earlier on, all our courses are CPD accredited, meaning they meet the professional standard, and the certificate that you get at the end of the day of the program is recognized in over 60 countries, and the certificate will come from CPD standards, not even Learn with Pride, and is recognized in over 60 countries. But aside this, if you want to write a professional certification exam, that is ISTQB Foundation, you can do that at your own convenient time. But having the certificate, you don't need the certificate to get a job. All that is required is your knowledge and experience. But in your own free time, if you think you still want to do it, yes, there's a professional certificate called ISTQB, Foundation Professional. But Foundation is more than enough that you can do. if you still want the certificate. But the knowledge you get and acquire is more than enough to get you a job. And also, the certificate will give you at the end of the program too is recognized in over 60 countries as well. That is to Joseph Omogbeyin. I hope I've been able to answer that question. As any other question, please raise your hand before we draw the curtain for tonight. If there's anyone who has got any other question, please raise your hand and I'll be calling you.
Okay, there's another question here in the chat section. Please,
All right.
when is the deadline for the discount?
3 days time, so that will be on the 14th. On the 14th of October. It's not like there won't be discount again. It's just that from 50% it will reduce to 30%. So there will still be discount. It might not just be 50%. But for the 50%, you can still take advantage of that till the 14th of this month. Please, what is the cost? Michael, the cost is £999, but there's currently 50% discount on it. That will make it £499. And that £499, you can start with half payment, and the other half can be paid within 4 to 5 weeks after you've started on the training. For any other enrollment details, price, inquiry, any other thing, there's a number on your screen right now. You can message me afterwards on the number on WhatsApp, on the number on your screen, so you can note it down. You can save it or screen grab it. All right. Any final question from anyone before we call it a day? Class period. So it runs. The class runs every Wednesdays and Thursdays from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. UK time. Every Wednesdays and Thursdays for 4 months. Also, you have access to our LMS. So if you miss any class, you can catch up with the recording by just logging into your dashboard, and you have access to the recording to catch up on. And if there's anything that you don't understand after watching the recording that you missed, you can reach out to Samuel directly as well. That's another benefit. Or you can put the question on the group for anyone that has done it to pull you through. But you always have the support. Any other question, either from Michael or from anyone on the call, you can raise your hand if you still want to ask any question. Anyone on the call? The training will be starting on the 25th of this month. The next cohort will be starting on the 25th of this month, and it's going to run for 4 months. Out of these 4 months, you're going to be involved on a live project as well. 2 months on a live project aside the 4 months as well. Sheyi Ogun, you can ask your question. You can unmute and ask your question.
All right, thank you so much for your time. This is a very wonderful session. And, I've been looking forward for this kind of opportunity. Now, I want to ask, for people who live in Nigeria, do you see any job opportunity? Come to think of Nigeria's situation in terms of security. Most companies probably wouldn't want to employ people. I don't know, but hasn't happened. So what do you think? What's your advice? And if someone who's living in Nigeria, how can the person secure a job as a tester, automation, or automated or manual testers? What can you please?
All right. So after acquiring all these skills, let me just go back to this slide. Right. After you acquire all these skills, let's even start from home. Let's start from, let's say, Nigeria. For you to, if you want to get any job, let's assume you want to consider job in Nigeria or your home country. After you acquire all this knowledge that you can see on the screen, right? The least that you can take per month in your local country, let's say Nigeria, will be 250 or 300,000 per month for someone who hasn't done it before, although they don't know that. You going through all this. Now, I said at the beginning of, or when I was doing my presentation, since after COVID, things has changed. You acquiring this knowledge, you can spread your wings and fly. You don't need to restrict yourself to your local country, because companies, foreign companies are looking, let me say, cheap labor. Take, for example, a company in the UK that don't want to pay 500 pounds per day to get a contractor in the UK, but they know they can get the same level of service or expert from somewhere else, whether from Asia or from Africa. You know, they now reach out to someone from Africa. Instead of them paying 500 pounds a day, they now say, you know what, we can only pay you 200 pounds a day. 200 pounds a day converted to Nigerian money is like 250,000 naira per day. That is still a lot of money, but to them, they think they are shortchanging you. So there are loads of these opportunities. And as Samuel has said, especially in the US, there are sites as well that you can apply for freelance jobs. And not only the US, you know, other countries as well, like Hungary, like Malta, you know, all these countries are open. But before you can put yourself among the people that wants to start competing, you need to acquire the right skills and knowledge. Well, yes, the sky is just the beginning, I tell you. After you acquire, whether you want to work in your home country or you want to work for a foreign company, you can dictate your money and you can get the job, because you are not restricting yourself. You can get a job as a manual tester. You can get a job as an automation tester. You can get a job as an API tester. You know, that is why, you know, the training, you know, we expose you to all these different type of testing so that you don't restrict yourself at the end of the day. So the answer to your question, yes, the opportunities are out there, whether locally or internationally. I hope I've been able to answer that question. Any other question from anyone on the call before we call it a day for tonight, and maybe hopefully see some of you. Yeah,
So
go on.
Akina, in addition to what you have added, so the individual, the fellow also wanted to know if there are job availability in his own country, Nigeria. So I can assure you that there are a lot of job opportunities when it comes to software testing in Nigeria. If you want to look at Nigerian markets, there are a lot of opportunities. That's why I know of software testers in Nigeria doing 3 jobs, 4 jobs, 5 jobs, if only you have the energy, right? There are just like I mentioned, there are fewer people in this industry, software testing. We have majority of people in software development. So we say that software development is crowded already, but software testing, a lot of opportunities, right? So for Nigerian market, just look at LinkedIn, go on LinkedIn, search for software testing jobs in Nigeria. You see thousands of it pop up on LinkedIn, because this is a place where employers go to find professionals. So just search that and you'll be amazed with the numbers of jobs you see in Nigeria. So of course, you look at the banking industry, you look at the fintech industry. These industries are booming, they are doing well when it comes to Nigerian space. So we have a lot of thousands of fintechs industry, and they are developing, they are pushing updates on daily basis, and they need people to validate this update before they get matched to the live environment. So you see a lot of job opportunities there for the commercial banks as well, for other companies, a lot of them, a lot, I can assure you, in Nigerian market. So, and also, once you acquire these skills, there are companies that are ready to sponsor your visa. Just once they interview you and you have the right skills, they can sponsor you to Canada, sponsor you to anywhere, everything will be sponsored. It's a skill that they are looking for professionals. Just like Akin said, they are looking for cheap labors, and there are lesser people in the field. They don't have much people, so they are looking for the fewer professionals, the fewer people that have these skills, right? They are looking for those ones. So once you acquire these skills, be rest assured you can have a job that will sponsor your relocation, including your visa, right? I have gotten a lot of such offers, and my LinkedIn, I don't apply for jobs; they come for me. So once you are good, you have all of this. Sure.
Yeah, thanks, Samuel, for that. Sachi, yeah, the fee, the cost, the original cost is £999, but there's 50% discount on it at the moment, and you can start with half payment after you apply the 50% discount. But for any other question as regards payment or questions, any questions at all, you can reach out to me on the number on your screen. I want to thank everyone for taking your time to attend tonight's session. The recording will be made available on our WhatsApp group and also on our YouTube channel. So if you are not following us on YouTube, please kindly go and follow us. Just search for Learn with Pride on YouTube and follow us. And when we drop the video, you'll be notified as well. From Sheyi Ogun, please, when is the time to start, please? It's starting, the next call will be starting on the 25th of October. That is when it's starting. It runs every Wednesdays and Thursdays from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. UK time. That is to Sheyi Ogun. Again, for any other questions that maybe we haven't answered, you can reach out to me on the number on your screen. So hopefully, thanks for your time. Hopefully, I'm going to see maybe most of you on the cohorts. Trust me, it will be a money well spent. The best investment, for year 2023. I can assure you that you can never go wrong. You can never go wrong. So till then, till we'll see you on the journey. I want to say thanks. What is the name of your YouTube? Just search for Learn with Pride. That is our name. Learn with Pride. Learn with Pride. Oh, sorry, I sent that to someone else. Meeting group. Yeah, so just search for Learn with Pride on YouTube. You see us there, and you can follow us. So please follow us. The recording will be made available by tomorrow. So thanks everyone for your time. Stay safe out there, and hopefully see you on the journey or when you send me a WhatsApp message. Thanks, and have a lovely night rest. Thanks everyone. Bye-bye.